Presidents, I would like a list of 11 projects here. 5 of them have been done by the Sri Lankans, 6 have been done by the foreigners. The ones which have been done by the foreigners is 6 times or 4 times the cost of our estimate. And the ones which we have done is 1/3 or 1/4 of the foreign estimate. I like to table this one. So, in this one, we have done Madurai. This is a very good example for all of you engineers. I am the oldest guy here, 79. So some of you must be 55. Madurai estimate done by Kulasinghe was only 725 million rupees. And Canadians gave a loan of 2,450. When Kulasinghe asked for the money from the Treasury, Treasury said we have no money. But Treasury finally spent 850 million rupees counterpart funds. So question arises, how did the Minister of Finance give 850 million rupees as counterpart funds when he could not give 725 to CECB to do Madurai? That's one. We have spent 4 or 5 times. And sir, Mr. President, sir, we are still continuing in the same fashion in most of the projects. Then number 2, Kalani Bridge. Kalani Bridge estimate, RDA estimate was 540 million only. Japanese gave 500 million grant. And then they gave another 1,000 million. And then we spent our 540 on counterpart funds. We spent 2,040 million rupees for that bridge. We could have done 4 bridges across Kalani. Now these are the decisions made by engineers as well as politicians and the administrators and the planners. I am 79, I have worked 53 years, I have worked with all these people. So all these people are to be blamed on this one. And Mr. President, listening to your speeches in the last 3-4 months, I find you have some kind of thing to change this one. Now, you are talking about motivation. When we had the 1957 floods, 1,500 tanks failed in this country, including 34 big tanks. That time, Bandaranaike was the Prime Minister. He wanted to bring British consultants and contractors. He asked the Minister CPD Silva, shall we bring consultants and contractors from England? Then Mr. CPD Silva said, no sir, we will ask Gunasekara first. Gunasekara was the director of irrigation at that time, and he was called and asked, shall we bring consultants? He said, no sir, you go and play your tennis now 4:30, don't waste time. You give me the rupees, I'll do the job. And sir, in the next 10 months, all the tanks, 1,500 were repaired. So that they could get the water raining in the next monsoon. That's the biggest engineering feat this country has ever seen. But that time, Director General Irrigation, we had only 100 engineers and 100 TAs in the irrigation department. Today we have 381 engineers and I don't know whether 1,000 or 1,500 middle-level technical people. They are the kind of thing we have produced. We produce about 1,500 engineers a year from all the universities. But they have got their 9 A-levels, 9 O-levels and 4 A-levels and all, but first class BSc engineering and all that. But can they work? Can they apply the principles that they have studied for human well-being to develop natural resources? No. Most of them can't. As somebody said, we should stop teaching engineering. Then sir, Minibe RB Canal, 600 million was our estimate and the Italians got the contract for 1,200. Then Minipe Nagadipa irrigation. So this is about me. Tamangana kinaka parabaya karnak yunar me kiandore. Minipe Nagadipa 455 million was the estimate of the Japanese consultants. SDNCC estimate was 155. I was the chairman of the SDNCC. When this went to the cabinet tender board, I think probably Dr. Jayasundar was there. They asked a question, can you do it at 155 while the Japanese have a 455 estimate? Then the man who was in the technical evaluation committee, my friend, he said, no, you give it to ADS. And they gave it to us and we completed that at 136 million instead of 455. This is the quality of the work and this is the capability of the Sri Lankans. Everybody can't be director of irrigation or secretary irrigation and so on. But they can lead other people to do a lot of work, lot of good work. Then Kudagal, another one. Our estimate was 90 million irrigation department. Japanese were referring to 250. We completed this job we had 60 million in 3 months. These are 225 feet long Anicut across Maniganga, 10 kilometers long canal, 45 structures, concrete structures, and you will wonder how we completed in 3 months. But we did complete that in 3 months. Then Viharagala, of course, 1,800 million, we spent 2,000 million and completed in 3 years. Then Kalutara Bridge, sir, now railway, GMR was talking about bridges. All these bridges were done by the Sri Lankans in the ancient days. Now this one, estimate was 110. Skanska, who came to do Kotmale, they were hanging around in this country. Once they go to a country, they don't leave. They asked for this job from the government, and they gave the job, and it cost us 245 million. We could have done 3 bridges across Kaluganga with that money. And we are producing engineers, spending a lot of money on free education, paying them salaries every month, every year for 20 years, 30, 40 years, but you are not getting work out of most of them now. We produce 1,500 engineers a year now. Those days, when we came, it was about 60 or 70. Another one for bridges, Tanamalville Udawalwe Bridge. Now, sir, this one estimate given by the RDA at that time was 23 million. 23 million. But the irrigation department did it for 6.1 million. This is the cost of construction. RDA can't have one estimate, water board can't have another estimate, CEB has another estimate, and the irrigation department has another. No, it can't happen. When we were 25 or 30-year-olds, it did not happen. At the institution, they discussed all this, and those things were put in place properly to develop local resources for human well-being.
Good afternoon.